Okay, so hi, Coach Lawson. My name is Julia,
My name is Dylan.
and we are reaching out to you from the Robinson Sports Leadership class. And we thank you very much for participating in our Robinson's Fall Sports Day media. So we just have a couple of questions for you about like the dance team this year, and learn a little bit more about your team culture. So Dylan, we'll start with the first question.
So obviously, coronavirus is going around pretty big recently. So I was just wondering, what kind of precautions are you taking with the pandemic and everything, and how do you expect it to affect your team?
So like most teams, they have to do the pre-screening. They have like a QR code they have to sign in and make sure they're not feeling any symptoms and they're bringing their water to practice. Masks are worn at all times, except for when they're getting a sip of water. We've been more conscious of formations and spacing to make sure that they're not too close. And it has affected the way we choreograph the dances for the team because normally, especially football season, which is the only season they're performing at, is they usually do a kick line. And so they're connected. And so we're not having them connect for kick lines. They'll still be like a kick portion of their dances, but they're not going to connect. So we don't get to do a lot of those cool visuals that we normally do, which is a little disappointing, but you know, you got to do what you got to do. And also a kind of overall impact is they missed out at dancing at basketball season, which I know a lot of the girls really like because they like the jazz style a lot, and so they weren't able to do that. And it looks like this year, instead of performing at halftime, they're going to perform pregame because of the capacity limits of football games. And I think we're considered spectators maybe this year. They're still like bouncing back and forth on what dance team actually qualifies at the county level, what they count us as. So it looks like they're actually going to perform pregame, so they dance and then we can leave, and then all the football spectators, we don't like overlap and make us go over the capacity for the stadium.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so like you said, we love watching the dance team perform their kick lines, but are you gonna start choreographing new routines that we might have never seen before due to COVID?
Yeah, so we started practice at the beginning of February, and they've already learned one routine that they're going to perform on March 12th at the football game, and they're in the middle of learning a second routine for the March 19th game. So they'll have new routines this year.
All right. So we were told that y'all attend competitions every now and then, and aside from like football games and whatnot, what are you most looking forward to?
I think I'm just looking forward to being with the team and being able to actually have a season because for a while it looked like we wouldn't. There are some smaller competitions that are going on virtually, but they're just so close that they put them together and like, oh, you need something ready this weekend, and we just couldn't pull it off. So we're going to take the year off of competing, which is a little disappointing, especially for our seniors because they really enjoy that aspect of being on the team. But it just things were happening way too quickly, and there was no time to prepare, and we didn't want to put out something that wouldn't represent the team well or represent the school well. So we took the year off of competing, but hopefully next year things will be a little bit more organized so that we can compete again.
Yeah. So actually, I am friends with a couple of the seniors, Emily Brooke and Allie Lloyd, and I love them to death. So how has your senior leadership really helped your team succeed so far this year and also for the rest of the season?
So all of our seniors, we have three seniors, Allie, Emily, and Anna. They're all three our captains this year, and they've been really good at reminding us to video the dances at the end of every practice so that they can share it with the rest of the team, so everyone has a video of the routine to practice with before the next practice. They've been in constant communication with the underclassmen to make sure they know what's going on, and they're really leading by example when we're teaching. They're being really sharp and clean and really demonstrating how we want the dances to look so that the new members and the underclassmen know what we're expecting.
Yes, ma'am. So obviously we've seen your dance team. They're pretty bonded. You know, you can see that they're all friends and they got good chemistry. So what are you further doing to develop that chemistry within your team?
It's a little harder this year because we can't do a ton of the usual team bonding. They actually, something that I know they all really look forward to, oddly enough, is like our yearly car wash that we do at the beginning of the year, because they're trying to like one up what they did last year. And we had like a record-breaking car wash last year, and they just get so excited to like work together for a common goal. And so like our fundraising isn't really happening too much this year. So we're kind of like missing pieces that we're used to. So we're trying to incorporate like team bonding within practices, and we have like little traditions that we're sharing with like the new team members. It's a pretty veteran team. We only have 2 new team members, 2 freshmen on the team, so they're already pretty bonded from last year. We did a couple Google Meets over the past year, like right after when we went into quarantine a year ago, essentially. And then we did one, I think in the fall-ish, and then right after winter break. So we've had a few things here and there to just like remain connected so that the team still like has something to look forward to and feels bonded still.
So we love watching the dance team, and as Dylan said, we know how connected you guys are and you have great team chemistry. So I know I used to be a dancer when I was younger, and I know that there are some factors and some things that dancing does to a child. So what do you think, in your perspective, does dance apply to life lessons, or how does it apply?
I think it helps definitely with time management, because all the girls on the team dance at studios, so they have to be able to manage their time with their school, getting to the studio, and doing practice. We kind of threw a wrench in the plan this year by changing one of our practice dates, and so they had to go back to their studio and figure out how they're going to be able to do both, because they have class and practice that kind of overlaps a little bit, and come up with a plan on how to work through that. There's a lot of like the personal connections and being able to work well with others and also overcome injuries. We have a couple girls who are like, oh, I pulled my calf or my leg's hurting. So it's like, you still need to do the work on your upper body, but let's mark things on the lower body if that's what's hurting, and really take care of your bodies. Especially now, we don't want any injuries happening in such a short season that it might take them out of the season to get all together. So just being really self-aware of their bodies and knowing when to take a break.
All right, yes, ma'am. So pretty much we just have really high expectations for you guys. You guys always show up, you always perform, and we're really excited for what you have to bring this year, and looking forward to it.
Thank you.
Also, I was wanting to know, what kind of formations have you guys developed that you're gonna go through with different activities you participate in? I know you talked about how you're coming into new routines instead of kick lines, but I wanted to know a little bit more about that.
Okay, so since it's on football, and football we do tend to be spread out anyways to kind of use as much of the field as possible. Overall, our formations don't really change. We have 10 on the team, so we're able to do like a perfect pyramid. Out of the girls, we'll do 2 lines or 3 lines, but we're kind of keeping it pretty basic just so we can keep things spread out and distanced. That way we're not getting too close. We do still plan on using their palms this year so that you still have that visual aspect. You just have to make sure we clean them.
Yes, ma'am.
So like you said before, you have a lot of returning dancers on your team, and you're kind of a close-knit team. You only have like 2 new additional dancers. But are there any factors that set your team apart this year than they have in years in the past?
I mean, we have a very veteran team. I think that's helpful. It is my 3rd year coaching the team, so the seniors this year were sophomores when I took over, and there weren't any freshmen that year. So it's kind of like the last of the originals that started with us. So that's kind of bittersweet and exciting, and sort of having kind of a young team this year. We don't have any juniors, so the sophomore class is pretty big and solid, so I think they're going to be able to carry through and kind of help build our team. We're still kind of building and trying to make it stronger, so I think it's helpful that we have so many returning members so that they can kind of guide the newbies that are coming in.
Yes, ma'am. So I pretty much think we've touched on everything. Thank you so much. Is there anything else you'd like to add?
I'm just excited that we're able to have a season and all the kids and all the different sports are able to have a season. So it's exciting to be in the building and watching kids participate in their activities because I think that we all kind of need something. It's something to look forward to. So it's great to see kids like doing something that they enjoy and they're passionate about.
That's definitely true. I'm an athlete myself, and I love sports. I mean, so it's definitely an outlet.
Yes.
But thank you so much for coming out and answering our questions. We're looking forward to the season, and we hope the best from you.
Great. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.